Less weight, more power. British bikers in the 1960s discovered this potent mix and they went racing from one cafe to another on British motorways, and voila, the cafe racer genre was born. Hi, hello and welcome to Drive Spark. So why am I giving you this brief history lesson? Well, because we're riding this Royal Enfield's latest cafe racer, the Continental GT 650. So it certainly looks like a cafe racer, but has it got that potent mix that we're looking for? Let's find out.
The Continental GT was always intended to be a performance brand for Royal Enfield. It was in 1965 that the Continental GT brand was born when Royal Enfield first launched the 250cc model. It produced 21 bhp and came with a fiberglass tank to reduce weight. It was also the first time that a Royal Enfield received clip-on handlebars, rear set foot pegs, upswept exhaust system and a humpback seat. Well, the formula has basically remained the same ever since for all cafe racers from Royal Enfield. It is little surprised that it remained the same because there was only one more Continental GT, which was the 535cc model that came out in 2012. And then in 2018 came this, the Continental GT 650. The 2018 Continental GT 650 follows the styling mantra of the model from 1965. Function first, form next. Up front is an old school circular reflector headlamp with dispersion style lens and orange lenses for the turn signal indicators. Right above the headlamp is the analog digital instrument cluster with the brilliant looking clip-on handlebars. The clip-on handlebars look near perfect with the brushed aluminium stalks drawing attention. The sculpted and slim fuel tank further adds to the stripped down design, and the same goes for the engine. The motorcycle we had on test had the optional crash guard fitted on it, and that was to an extent a spoiler in the overall design of the motorcycle. The engine is the single biggest part in the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 and plays a huge part in making the Continental GT look good. The large engine block with the chrome crankcases and chrome dual exhaust system defines the side profile. At the rear is a simple setup with a single tail lamp and two turn signal indicators mounted directly onto the mudguard via a clamp, while the dual upswept exhaust system makes the bike stand apart. The humpback seat is also a throwback to the original Continental GT. The foot pegs too are rear set, and all these elements come together to give the rider the signature cafe racer riding position. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 is powered by an all-new air and oil-cooled parallel twin-cylinder engine. The 648cc motor puts out a maximum power output of 47 bhp at 7250 rpm and a peak torque output of 52 Nm at 5250 rpm. With the Continental GT 650, Royal Enfield has upped the game and has moved to a 6-speed gearbox assisted by a slipper clutch. Just to draw a comparison, the older Continental GT 535 pushed out just 29 bhp and 44 Nm and was driven by a conventional 5-speed gearbox. This is how big a difference the second cylinder has made. The second cylinder combined with the balancer shaft has also resulted in a drastic reduction in vibrations, something that the older Continental GT was criticized for. The engine in the Royal Enfield Continental GT is an understressed unit, and hence the output is still comparatively lower than most 600cc segment motorcycles. This is also the reason for Royal Enfield to go with air and oil cooling instead of liquid cooling. Through the dual upswept exhaust pipes, the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 produces a deep bassy rumble that is neither too loud nor too feeble. As much as 80% of the torque comes in at lesser than 3000 rpm and hence makes buttering around town easy. However, when the throttle is worked hard, the Continental GT 650 picks up pace pretty quickly. It accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in under 6.5 seconds and will go on to touch a top end whack of over 170 km per hour. It is without doubt a fast motorcycle. However, if one is used to performance riding, it will take a pretty long time getting used to. Since the engine has a relaxed character, throttle response is not as crisp as I would have liked it. Blipping the throttle and rev matching the downshifts are a task, as the throttle has to be wrung fully for that to happen. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 has an in-city mileage figure of 23 km per litre, which went up 27 km per litre out on the highway. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 has a dedicated riding position, and this is what makes it handle well despite the old school design and technology. The riding position clearly indicates that it was meant to be ridden fast, and that is what one can do on the motorcycle. Triple digit cruising speeds are reached with absolute ease, and the Continental GT 650 will comfortably hover around the 120 km per hour mark all day. But its character really comes into the light when it is shown some corners. Now, do not be mistaken, the good handling characters of the motorcycle do not mean it would set a blistering time around a racetrack. However, it would put a grin on the rider's face when shown some curves. Making the ride more pleasurable is the fact that the motorcycle is now vibration free. Long rides though would require the rider to get off the motorcycle occasionally for stretching, again owing to the riding position. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 rides on a conventional telescopic fork up front and twin gas-charged shock absorbers at the rear. It is no doubt a simple setup but has been tuned well. The best bit of the suspension is felt between 40 to 60 km per hour. It almost seems like the potholes on the road are missing at this speed and rumble strips are soaked up like they never existed. But when the shocks are felt, the jolt directly goes to the rider's shoulder again because of the riding position. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 rides on Pirelli Phantom Sportcom tires that were specifically designed for the Royal Enfield 650 twins by the Italian tire giant. The tire has high grip levels and allows the rider to take corners and brake hard with confidence. This however changes when ridden over dirt patches. A 320mm disc up front and a 240mm disc at the rear, both from Calibre, brake the Royal Enfield Continental GT. The brakes have good initial bite and are powerful, thereby giving the rider confidence to push the motorcycle. ABS is a standard feature on the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650, further increasing the capabilities of the motorcycle. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 features a simple instrument cluster with two large analog dials for the speedometer and tachometer. Within the speedometer dial is a tiny digital display on which one can view the fuel gauge, the odometer and trip meters. The attention to detail is another good feature on the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650. There is a Royal Enfield badge on the clip-on handlebar mount, and Royal Enfield also embossed into the foot pegs. The paint quality is top-notch, and the Royal Enfield Continental GT is offered in 5 attractive color options. The one we picked up from CVS Motors was Ice Queen, which in our opinion is the best color.
The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 is an attention magnet thanks to its styling. It has a sporty handling thanks to its riding position, and it has a sense of premiumness that has never been seen before in this price bracket. Well, price is all it comes down to. Rupees 3.1 lakh on road is totally worth it for this bike. It is just brilliant pricing. And well, if sporty handling and great looks are your priorities, this is the one to go for. And we're gonna get back to riding. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Drive Spark.